This from Giesbrecht. Thank you. My mouth wouldn't work there. From the Western Standard. Fair question. Is Wab Kinew's pipeline veto reconciliation or racket? So by invoking Indigenous consultation as a veto, like Indigenous consultation doesn't mean Indigenous permission, right?
Right.
But we are taking this for some reason as those two words mean the exact same thing. Manitoba's premier risks economic sabotage and reinforces elite power at the expense of the poor, also at the expense of Indigenous people, because there's never more an Indigenous industry than oil and gas. In fact, Indigenous people are overrepresented as a proportion of the population in oil and gas. And of course, that makes sense because the projects are in their communities.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And so he's fighting against economic reconciliation.
Yeah. So this story comes out of last week's All Ministers meeting that happened in Huntsville. Was it Huntsville, Ontario? Sheila, Gunn, Reid?
Muskoka.
Thank you, Muskoka, where Doug has a cabin, a cottage, a chalet, if you will. At this same All Ministers meeting, an agreement was made between Premier Danielle Smith of Alberta, Premier Scott Moe of Saskatchewan, and Premier Doug Ford of Ontario to fast track pipeline projects as it pertains to our three provinces, oil and gas projects and pipeline projects through our three provinces. And then what does Wab Kinew do? What does Wab Kinew, the son of a left-wing activist professor mother and First Nations chief father, go and do? Wab Kinew says, no, no, no. I will not sign on to your pipeline agreement because I absolutely insist on consultation. So what Wab Kinew is doing is saying that he's demanding that all 634 Indian bands in the country of Canada get fair and equitable consultation as it pertains to any pipeline going through Manitoba. So he did not sign on to our pipeline and oil and gas memorandum of understanding with Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario. He decided that Manitoba was going to sit this one out. And then, to reward him, what did Premier Scott Moe go and do? Because it's a kick in the teeth, okay? When one province is like, no, I'm not gonna help you guys. I'm not gonna help you guys with your major industry and your major sectors and the thing that would bring you the most benefit, as well as the First Nations of your provinces, the most benefit. I'm not gonna play along. What does Scott Moe go and do? Scott Moe goes and signs a memorandum of understanding with Wab Kinew to explore. Now, what is this? The Arctic Gateway Group?
Yeah.
Is that what that says, Sheila Gunn Reid? I need to squint. Yeah.
Arctic Gateway.
So Scott Moe goes, Wab Kinew didn't sign on to our pipelines, but, we need to give him a photo op. We need to take a selfie with a piece of paper. We need to
screw Alberta over.
Yeah. Yep. So you know what? Let's do a solid for Wab Kinew, even though he just screwed us. Let's give that left-wing communist a good deal. And we're going to say that we're going to work with Wab Kinew and the Arctic Gateway Group, who P.S. couldn't even be bothered to have a functioning website, you guys. Okay? This is a group, this Arctic Gateway Group doesn't have a functioning website. It is absolutely stocked with people, with chiefs, okay? Their board of directors and all of their major players, well, half of them at least are chiefs. None of them have bios. None of them have publicly available information on the website. And Scott Moe's like, yep, let's go into an agreement with these guys in Wab Kinew. What the hell are we doing? If Manitoba just iced us on pipelines, on our oil and gas, we tell Manitoba to take a long walk in the desert. That's what we should be doing. We should not be signing any agreements with Manitoba.
We tell them we don't sign this MOU until you sign ours.
That's right.
That's negotiating.
That's right. And so what the hell are we doing, Saskatchewan? We're getting into bed with Manitoba and their communist government to what? To increase trade through the Port of Churchill, which is only accessible during the summer months when it's not blocked with ice, while our biggest trade partner right next door in the United States, we don't have an agreement. Why isn't Scott Moe up Mark Carney's butt to get an agreement with the United States as it pertains to trade? This is an absolute bed crapping, you guys. I can't believe that they did this in public. This is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing.
Imagine being Alberta and you're like, well, we had strength in numbers till Scott Moe was like,
Right, until
No, you don't.
yeah, no, let's I want to explore the Churchill Railroad with Premier Wab Kinew and his communist leanings and all of the chiefs that will still have to say yes to any project.
And it's so funny.
Stupid.
It's so funny because every time I see train in or oil in tanker cars on the railroad, I always think, man, someone should weld those things together and bury them.
It's like a rolling pipeline almost. Like it's like a big, humongous rolling pipeline. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. And the craziest
Except
thing is
less safe.
The craziest
less safe
thing
and
is
more energy intensive.
But if we were to have more pipelines, okay, so this memorandum of understanding with Saskatchewan and Manitoba is important for Saskatchewan agricultural producers because it is important to get our product to their markets, which in some cases is Europe, in some cases is the Far East, and India, right? India buys a lot of our lentils, but if we had pipelines in the ground, that would free up a lot of rail space to move our agriculture products. And that's been a complaint for years and years and years on the prairies, is that any time that oil is on the rail tracks, it's taking those rail tracks away from agriculture products. And unlike agriculture products, oil and gas does not go bad in the pipeline, whereas agriculture products go bad in the bin if they're not shipped in an appropriate time. So in any case, we need pipelines. Manitoba's Wab Kinew just screwed us all. Thanks very much, Scott Moe, for entering into a different agreement with him, and that's where we are at on the prairies.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel Notley, who opposes pipelines, the NDP who opposed pipelines, they were perfectly fine in Alberta. They bought 7,000 rail cars to ease the oil backlog.
7,000.
Instead of just advocating for pipelines. Like, it's just so stupid. And then eventually the province sold off their 10 billion in crude by rail contracts. Like, as soon as the commies were out, the UCP are like, we don't do this. If they want to move the oil by rail, that's not what the government's going to do.
Right.
The private sector can do that. Or even better, we should build the pipelines.
We should just build the pipelines. We should just put them underground. Yeah. Yeah,
like I just remember how stupid that was. I was like, that's when I was like, you should weld those together and build them, and just bury them underground, and then you could use the train tracks for other things.
But. You think? Yeah. It seems it's a sensical idea, Sheila Gunn Reid. Yeah, if only we were running the show.
Yeah.